Are you guys ready for me to break down the Premier League soccer slate for Wednesday? Because if so, you're gonna have to wait just a little bit because, well, Pochettino, you claimed that Chelsea wouldn't just be Cole Palmer FC? Well, hang a 5-0 on your head, you arrogant prick. Wow, we showed him how it's done. Alrighty, sorry, I just had to get that one off my chest, guys. Oh, it feels good being an Arsenal fan. Did you guys see my little short video I did on the Arsenal-Chelsea game for Tuesday? Saka first half shots. He had 4 of them. Enzo to take a first half shot at plus 125. He took one. Nicholas Jackson to get involved in first half shots. He had one as well. Dude can't get a fucking shot on target, but I didn't say take him for a shot on target, because I only trust that man to shoot. I don't trust him for anything else, and there's a good reason for that, because he's fucking dog shit. Anyway, yeah, I kind of killed the Arsenal game. And, you're welcome. So let's talk about Wednesday. Hopefully these things go just as well as the Arsenal game. First game we're going to talk about. Wolves against Bournemouth. I'm putting this game first because it's my least favourite, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't love this game. I don't have a great read on it. Neither team really needs anything. Neither team is going down. Neither team is fighting for Europe. It just kinda is. And so this is one of those games where I'm hoping that the lineups will offer me something interesting. I'm talking like Philip Binning playing attacking mid for Bournemouth rather than defensive mid, because that guy takes free kicks, and if he's playing attacking mid, his first half shots have a ton of value. I'm talking something like that. Maybe Lamina playing on the wing for Wolves, which he's done before. Then his first half shots have a lot of value. Wolves have a lot of guys that are hurt right now, and I'm really not sure where they're at in their recovery, because if they get better and they run out like a pretty standard lineup of like Hwang Sarabi and like someone else like Cunha or someone like that, that's pretty standard. Then it's kind of hard to pick. But as soon as one of those guys drops out and you get like a Thomas Doyle, I think his name is, or Sarabi is always very reliable, or my personal favorite, as I just mentioned, Mario Lamina, who's a natural center mid, playing at like a left wing or right wing spot. That's great, but it's really nothing that I can predict ahead of time because I have no idea how these teams are going to run out, and neither team has great motivation to do anything apart from just, win for pride, because that's what you're playing for, really, at this point, but there's nothing else beyond that. So, we'll see. When lineups drop, hopefully there'll be something interesting. If I do spot something spicy, I will share it on my Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, it is at FIFA Brit. But as always, all of my official plays will be locked in my Discord channel in Gold Boys. Now is a fantastic time to sign up, goldboys.com. The link will be in the description. By the way, did I mention that this video is sponsored by Sleeper Picks? We will cover more on that later, but now we're going to move into the next game. Palace against Newcastle. My God, this Palace team is a different team with Elise and Eze playing. It's ridiculous. I think they've now been healthy together and starting for maybe 6 games in the league because they are both so injury prone, and the fact that they've only played in like 5 or 6 games together is an absolute travesty because my God, these guys shoot so much and I just absolutely love it. They fucking cooked the living shit out of West Ham. It was a sight to behold. So yeah, you guys can guess where I'm going with this. Eze and Elise first half shots. Absolutely love both of them. They're both ripping a ton recently. On the Newcastle side, I'm looking at Isak. I'm looking at whoever plays left wing, whether it's Gordon or Barnes. Maybe we run that 2 first half shots lotto and we go Eze, Elise, Isak, and then Gordon or Barnes, whoever starts on left wing. That feels pretty spicy. This game's going to be pretty back and forth. Palace team total. It's at Palace's home stadium, and their team total is plus money basically everywhere. I know Newcastle kind of hung a 4-0 on their heads the last time they played, but that was at St James's Park. Newcastle aren't brilliant away, and Palace are just a completely different team when Eze and Elise are fit, which they weren't the last time they played Newcastle. So, yeah, again, it all hinges on lineups. If Eze and Elise aren't playing, and I mean, that's Not both of them. I mean, if one of them is out and the other one has to backpack, maybe you can trust them for shots, but you can't really trust Palace to score. You can trust that guy to do his fucking best. But that's really about it. If they're not both starting, I don't really trust Palace. But if they're both starting, fuck yeah, let's go. That's what I want to see. So that's how I'm going to approach that game.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Goal Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Goal Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Next game we're going to talk about, Merseyside derby, Everton against Liverpool. I'll be honest, this is at Goodison Park. Everton usually park the bus at home. They're in a relegation battle. They do have an edge because they just beat Forest. So really, as long as they don't really choke against some of their more important matchups against other relegation teams, I'm pretty sure they have to play Sheffield, Burnley, and Luton. If not all three, then at least 2 out of the 3 before the season is done. So as long as you don't lose those games, you should be fine. And honestly, I think Everton are better than most of those teams. I have a soft spot for Luton because Luton actually try to fucking attack. They're usually shit at it, but, you know, well, actually, no, that's not fair. They're not shit at attacking. They have a good streak of scoring goals. They're just really shit at defending. And they usually get 1 goal, but they concede about 2 or 3 every single time. So I would love it if Luton stayed in the Prem, just from a betting perspective, because they're just so much fun to bet against and to bet on, just because there's usually tons of value on them, and whoever they play against is usually going to sweep. So I'd love it if Luton stayed up, but it's probably going to be Everton that survive this drop. Maybe Luton get out and Forest drop down. That would probably be the ideal lineup. I think that's the most plausible way that Luton don't get relegated. But we're not talking about Luton, not today. We're talking about Everton, we're talking about Liverpool. Liverpool, in a weird spot, you know, not a brilliant spot. Yeah, they had a pretty good result over the weekend, but they're not playing their best right now. But that being said, I do think Everton's tendency to park the bus at home is going to benefit the way I'm attacking this game, which is Liverpool's shots. I have a feeling Everton are not going to be holding much possession at all. Liverpool are going to be in possession the majority of the time and just ripping shots from left, right, and centre. Now they've got Trent back in the lineup. Trent loves to rip shots. Anyone in their midfield loves to rip shots. And honestly, any combo of the front line. Jota's now out for the season, which is unfortunate. The poor guy is very injury prone. So it's probably going to be some combo of Gakpo, Diaz, Nunez, and Salah, who didn't play on the weekend. But I don't see why they wouldn't start in this game. They just got rested, so they should be here. Those are your guys who are going to be reliable with first half shots, Salah and Nunez, but also just team shots in general. Liverpool should be bouncing back here, and they should be ripping a ton of shots against a significantly inferior Everton side. It's also a derby, so added motivation here. It's not exactly a competitive derby. Liverpool have been better than Everton for God knows how long at this point. But there's motivation there, so hopefully they're coming out guns blazing. What's up everyone, I just want to say a special thank you to the sponsor of this video, Sleeper Picks. Don't forget that you can use code GOLDBOYS to get a deposit match of up to $500 if you sign up today. Thank you again, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video, and now back to the bets. Last game I'm going to talk about before I give you an official play is Man U against Sheffield. Man U still concede a metric fuck ton of shots. They still, I think, concede the most shots in the entire Premier League because 2024 has been fucking brutal for them when it comes to shot defense because it's basically non-existent. They also almost choked an FA Cup semi-final to Coventry, and without VAR bringing out the fucking microscope to check an offside, Coventry would be through 4-3, having been down 3-0. So Man U, even though they won that game, should really be feeling like they lost. And they should really feel like they need to bounce back and hammer the ever-living shit out of Sheffield, who are bottom of the Prem, and it's basically do or die for them. So Man U have motivation here because they're still fighting for spots in Europe and they need to beat up on the little guy here. Sheffield have nothing to lose. They're going to know that Man U are beatable. I guarantee you they're in the locker room and in training going, a championship side almost beat them and probably deserve to win. If Coventry can do that, why can't we? So the way I'm going to attack this one in my play that I'm going to lock in just in a second, so stay tuned, it's going to be a very spicy team shots lotto, is Sheffield shots. As for specific players, Hamer playing in the centre mid, Brereton Diaz playing striker or on the wing depending on the formation they run out. Keep an eye on the formation that Sheffield run. They've been playing 5 in the back for basically this entire season. Last weekend, they played a 4-3-3. This was pretty meaningful because their centre mids, even the ones that don't usually shoot that much, I'm not talking about Hamer. Hamer shoot a touch, he shot a ton anyway. I'm talking about, and I'm going to nail his name here, Vinicius de Souza Costa. Now, my very good friend over at Goal Boys, Mr. Brad Thomas, had a ladder on him to take 2 shots and 3 shots. 2 shots was like plus 800, and 3 shots I think was like plus 2700, because this guy doesn't really shoot. He does shoot now and then, and when he does, he takes a couple, but he doesn't shoot very often, and he had 2 shots playing in this 4-3-3 centre mid-roll, which is much more different than his holding mid-roll in a 3-5-2, which is essentially a 5 in the back formation because their wing-backs are playing very defensively. So if Sheffield run out with a 4-3-3, look at whoever is playing centre mid. Obviously we know about Hamer. He takes free kicks. He rips from 30 yards out. I've covered this guy. I love this guy. But look at the other guys as well. Also worth keeping an eye on Jaden Bogle. This guy has like a 7 or 8 game streak of taking 1 shot, and I think he's like even money to take a single shot all game. That's not the first half. That's any time in the game. And he's been scoring a couple recently, which is really fun. Now, that's where the wing-back formation actually helps. Because if they're playing in a 3-5-2, he plays at the wing-back, which means he can get forward. If they're playing a 4-3-3, then he's playing in a more traditional right-back role, so he might not get forward as much. That being said, it didn't stop him over the weekend. He was playing right-back in a 4-3-3, and he still had about 2 shots, I think. So it might not stop him, but it's something to keep an eye on. So lots of fun props on the Sheffield side of things. For Man U, Bruno has actually been their most consistent guy recently, but he doesn't really have much upside. He's just kind of like very reliable, and that also comes because he takes penalties for them. Rashford and Garnacho have the most upside. They both had, I think, 3 shots in the first half against Coventry, and they love stat padding against inferior teams, and Sheffield are definitely an inferior team, at least on paper. Sheffield United are also the ultimate smash spot for a striker, whether it's first half shots, shots on target, or goals. So maybe it's time to back Rasmus Højlund to actually break out of his recent slump. If anyone can get him some service, just get him the ball and maybe he can do something. But I don't really like betting on guys who are in a slump to break their streak because regression to mean is a very meaningful phenomenon, but guessing when it's going to happen isn't a fun game. That being said, if it's going to happen for a striker to get back into the swing of things, Sheffield United playing in a game at home is probably a pretty good time for that to happen. So I'm not gonna tell you no if you want to trust Højlund. I'll probably put my faith somewhere else, but I'm not going to tell you no. That being said, that wraps up my coverage of the Premier League Wednesday slate. Here are the shots lottos that I promised, keeping it nice and short and simple. Sheffield to take 16 shots and Liverpool to take 20 shots. That is plus 836 on FanDuel, and I took that for 0.2 units. And then the stepped up spicy version is Sheffield for 18 shots and Liverpool to record 24 shots. That is plus 3605, and I took that for 0.1 units. Both of these teams, regardless of who they're running out, are gonna have to shoot. Liverpool are in a title race playing against a very defensive-minded rival. Local rival, that is. Not a competitive rival, but a local rival. Still motivation there. And Sheffield are in do or die, bottom of the Premier League. It is now or never, and you're playing Man U, who conceded a ton of shots and almost lost to Coventry. Perfect spot for both teams to really just take a ton of shots, and so that's all I'm asking for. Doesn't matter when they happen, sometimes they happen all at the end of the game. Sometimes they happen all the way up front in the game. Who knows? Doesn't matter when. Doesn't matter who. Just take the shots and I'll be happy. That wraps up my coverage. As always, if you do think you have a gambling problem, don't forget to call the number 1-800-GAMBLER. Best of luck with all your bets. Hope you continue to have a fantastic week if you cashed me in the Arsenal-Chelsea game. And if you missed out on that game, well, there's still time to turn it around. We're going to have a great week. Love midweek fixtures, especially in the Premier League. Best of luck with all your bets, and I'll catch you next time.